Hi there and welcome to my Squeezebox Advent Calendar, possibly the most niche set of videos ever to be imagined. But the reason I'm doing it is because people often ask about the instruments that I play, and so I'm going to take you through them one by one, and yeah, it's I've got a lot of them, let's put it that way. So we're going to start on day one with this instrument, which is made by Eric Martin, and it's one of the main boxes I use on stage. Some of the ones coming up will be less commonly used and in outlandish keys and all sorts of things. But I thought I'd start with this one because it's one of my favourite boxes. I didn't always play this one. Before I had this one, I had a similar box made by Oakwood, which I used. But this one has several features which I prefer, has other features which I don't prefer. Yeah, I think the most interesting thing about this is that it's built in a very different way to some of the others. So I'd like to take you inside this one. So yes, it's a three-voice instrument on the treble side, which means that those reeds, when they play, are three reeds, two tuned to the same note with a slight tremolo between them, and then the third reed is an octave below, and that gives that very growly sound. So we'll look at it in a bit more detail. So here we have the instrument itself, and yeah, as you can see, it's not in the greatest of health. Here is a missing stop knobble. It's still usable with a pair of pliers to change the voicing on the right hand side from 2-voice to 3-voice, but to be honest with you, I've got lovely 2-voice instruments, and I would normally only use this in its 3-voice setting because it's the sound I'm after. So without further ado, let's take it to bits. Now the interesting thing about this is that instead of normally what you'll find is melodeons will have pins on this interface between the bellows and the sides of the instrument that you just pull out, and they're sort of held in by friction. This is built much more like a classic one-row instrument in that it has two long screws that go all the way into the casing at the side here. So it's actually quite an easy thing to take it apart. Let's speed this bit up. So never lose the bits. They're important. Let's see what we've got going on inside. Another unusual feature of this is that the bellows holding straps are on the top and bottom rather than on the sides. So let's have a look inside the right hand. What we have here is 3 sets of reeds waxed into reed plates. I'll take one of the reed plates out to show you. On the top and the bottom of this we have the reeds which are the high-pitched reeds, and then this middle block has all the lower, octave lower reeds on for the right hand. And what we have here is a nice reed block, very well made, and Binchy Amano reeds, which are the thing that makes this sound like it really does. Top quality Italian reeds, really lovely sound. So put this back carefully. So that's the right hand side, and we have experimented with having these blocks tied together with a piece of metal, which can increase the rigidity, but actually that feels like it takes some of the life out of the instrument, so I've taken that off again. We're back where we are. So it's the same thing on the left hand side. Again, 2 screws which are behind this. I've got to take the strap off for this one. Now you may notice on this one it has a lever action air button, and this is it looks very odd. It should be a nice piece of black Delrin, was the original air button, but it snapped off during a Bellowhead tour and I had to create some kind of emergency fudged one. That's made out of one of my favourite materials called polymorph. So now we have access to the left hand side. Now the odd thing about this left hand side is that there's only one reed block, which is not normally the case. If I take it off, just held in with those two screws there. Oh, and there's a third one in the middle, sorry. And again, these are Binchy reeds on the left hand, but they don't really do their thing. And I think you can probably see why. I mean, you've got lovely big deep bass reeds here, and here, lovely big deep bass reeds, but well, the chords are all on the same block, and I think it's about the air really. It's got very small holes in the keyboard mechanism for the left hand, and the air has to go through these holes. Now the bass ones go straight in there, but for the chords it's got to sort of turn a right angle and go up here, and frankly I don't think that's a very good design, and I'd really love to hear this box if it had a better left hand. Right, I'm going to put that back in. But yeah, this is a very unusual arrangement on the left hand reed blocks, very unconventional, and I think that might explain why it sounds like it does. Now, I'm not going to do this with every box that I demonstrate, because I don't think it's going to be that useful to see inside some of the more conventional ones, but I will do it if there's anything inside that's particularly unusual to see. So we'll get this strap back on, ready to play you a tune. So this is the time when I'll play you something on it, just to show how it sounds on its own. I'm sure you'll have heard this one. I use it on all sorts of things that I play. It's on New York Girls for Bellowhead, and it's on, play it in the Gig Spanner Big Band on Awake Awake, and lots of other places. Prickle Eye Bush, I use this one. It's got a more aggressive sound, so I'll just take you through how it works on the separate parts. This is the left hand. And that's with this button pressed in. This button takes the thirds out of the chord, so you can have a full chord with 3 notes in, or a thin chord with just the fifths. Now the left hand isn't the best part of this box, not by any stretch of the imagination. It's not got the most amazing sound ever, but what it does have is this right hand has an amazing sort of a sort of aggression to it, so it's good for upbeat music, and so yeah, I'll play you a little tune on it just so that you can hear it on its own. See you next time.